Hey everybody, Christian here, and it's good to be back talking a little more wrestling this week as we are preparing to advance on to WrestleMania 42. Um, I know it is a WrestleMania that some people are got mixed feelings with when it comes to whether or not they're looking forward to it or not, but we'll address what we're excited about, what we're not so excited about, and we're also going to discuss NXT and where they're at coming up into the WrestleMania weekend, how that landscape's going to change. So, more or less, this is a WrestleMania preview NXT vid that I want to get out. Decided to just these were going to be two separate videos, but I just decided, it's all WWE anyways under the same banner. We're just going to go ahead and do it all in one vid. So let's discuss NXT first, kind of get that out of the way before we discuss WrestleMania 42, because I think that discussion will lead into WrestleMania discussion. So let's go there. NXT has been, as I said before, it's digestible comfort food when it comes to pro wrestling. Shawn Michaels does great in booking the talents that he has, being able to maximize the most of what he can use, and he is really getting he's really making the stars of tomorrow. As we've seen with the elevation of Obafemi, Javon Evans, Braun Breaker, who else recently went up? Off the top of my head, Trick Williams, sorry. All these people have gone up, just been doing gangbusters when they were in NXT and some in TNA. Come up to the main roster, they're making an impact. They are doing no pun intended with the TNA hat. They are making an impact. They are showing that they could be taking over the main event roles here in the very soon foreseeable future. But NXT decided, and WWE brass in general decided not to have NXT's biggest event happen on the same weekend as WrestleMania. They went ahead and did it a few weeks prior. We're just gonna go through the run sheet real quick. Overall, NXT Stand and Deliver was a very enjoyable show. Me and my girlfriend had a good time watching it. It was there wasn't really anything too bad from it. The only thing I would probably mention overall was that I wish there was a little more in the sense of kind of a breakup in the just maybe a stipulation in here and there in certain matches or whatnot to kind of juice up the flavor of the lineup. But overall, it was a pretty solid card, and I had a great time watching it. As I said, we're gonna go over, this is the Bleacher Report, and we like to use the Bleacher Report to kind of follow and navigate these pay-per-view events if they're offered. So let's kind of I again, as I talk about these shows, I do not talk about um the pre-show matches. The mixed 10-person tag was a pre-show. We won't talk about that. We will move on. So the first match of Stand and Deliver was JC Jane, Lola Vice, Kendall Gray. These are and definitely three of the top women that are on NXT currently right now. I don't know if any of you guys would be the biggest fans of, say, a Lola Vice or a Kendall Gray. JC Jane, to me, has opened my eyes. She is great talent. A far cry from a year ago when everyone laughed at the idea of her even holding the NXT Women's Championship. She has proved that she is a legit entertainer, and she can be enjoyable to watch in the ring as well. But yeah, this match I think was probably one of the best matches of that night. They literally, the women were on top of their game throughout the entire match. They basically each had individual timing with the spotlight on them, and they were able to shine in those moments. A lot of good organic back and forth in between all three ladies. But yeah, the biggest thing about this, and as I said, there was a lack of stipulations. There was a lot of like 1v1 yes, there was title matches, but there wasn't like any like hardcore matches. There wasn't ladder matches. And yes, while triple threats and fatal four ways have no disqualification, um, they didn't lend into that or lead into that as very much at all in this match. It pretty much was a triple threat, true and true. But yeah, honestly, I didn't know who was going to win this. Really, like, I mean, if I was the bet man, my money was on Vice to win it, and she did, because Lola Vice is someone they've really kind of emphasized over the last like several months to try to like put her over, and they finally got her over to the point where the crowd is like really like behind Lola Vice as a champion. So, um, I mean, I figured how many more underground matches does this bitch have to fucking win in order for people to be like, you know what? Maybe Lola Vice is the one. Maybe we can put the title on her. But yeah, they went ahead and yeah, Lola is the champion. She just recently here on NXT Revenge defended the title again against JC Jane. Um and beat her clean again. Um but yeah, they definitely are teasing in the future all sorts of like possible contenders for Lola Vice. The only contender I did not see, and I wish that they just revisit the feud because I think these two women work well together. I want to see Kalani Jordan go after that fucking title. I hope they like put her into the scene soon if they don't call her up to the main roster. Um, Kalani Jordan, Lola Vice have such great history. They one of the best feuds they probably can lean on going into post WrestleMania, the post WrestleMania scene. And but I mean, there's a lot of credible contenders. They could Lola Vice could hold this title for a good while. Um, and that's if I just I don't know what Fatal Attraction's gonna do, or Fatal Influence. Sorry. I always screw up the names with Toxic Attraction and Fatal Influence because they're like JC Jane was in both factions. Um, but yeah, like I don't know what Fatal Influence's plan or what their the plan to use them and how to utilize them going forward. And that's I'm expecting JC Jane to get called up to the main roster. I think it's her time. Um, Problem is the women's roster are very gloated. Um, or glutted, bloated. It's bloated. Yeah, I don't know why I was stuck on the letter G there. Yeah, the women's roster is very bloated, and that is only because they don't highlight or showcase the women enough on the main roster. If they showcase the women on the main roster like they do NXT, it wouldn't be such a problem. But unfortunately, there's a lot of women on that roster that just don't get any screen time, don't really get highlighted, and are easily lost in the shuffle. Um, I mean, you're lucky to make a main event, like a pay per view card as a woman's wrestler if you're not going after the title, or one of the titles, I should say. Like, if you're not in that program, you are probably not ever going to be on a freaking WrestleMania or a PLE event unless it's an extended one like WrestleMania. Um, but yeah, like I said, top of the show. This was a great match. Um, Next we had Vandy Project against Los Americanos for the tag team championships. This was also really good. This really showcased how well of a unit Vandy Project really is. I've been they've been really growing on me with being led by Jackson Drake and whatnot. So I was Baylor and Smokes came in as the tag champions, and of course we all know as wrestling fans who Los Americanos are. But leave it to Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate to basically really embrace this gimmick as subsidiaries for like secondary like hands for El Grande Americano being portrayed by Ludwig Kaiser. Um, and they're actually getting themselves over as like these like like random nameless luchadors in a mask, and they're actually getting themselves over as a tag team, and they're entertaining because they're mixing some of that lucha libre with their European style of wrestling, and it's entertaining as all hell. I love how good like trust me, you put Tyler Bate and Pete Dunne as who they were on a card, you got me excited to watch. But this was them taking it to a whole other level. And of course, um Baylor and Smokes Vandy Project, they were doing so well, um, putting these guys over, taking the bumps and the lumps. But they did eventually defeat the Americanos, holding on to the title. But yeah, like both these teams showcase a very enjoyable match. Had a great time watching them. Now, hopefully, the tag division can hopefully grow to some extent, because I know it's hurting a little bit in the NXT scene. So let's hope that they kind of, like, with these guys being as annoying, and the a tag team that you want to just get ripped apart and destroyed every week, they find some tag teams that want to come in and work with these guys. Like, I know they got like Hank and Tank, and man, who else they got other than Hank and Tank as a established tag team? Like that's the problem. Like, there isn't hardly any tag teams anymore. Like, there's a few outside Vandy projects. So I'm hoping that they can find some more guys who are just not doing much on NXT right now. They could do like a tag team, maybe sprucing up this tag team scene a little bit. That'd be great. Um, Sol Ruka versus Zarya, and so this match, for what this was very enjoyable. You could tell that they showed the hate between each other. This was one of their longest brewing feuds, and the thing is about this feud, it's hard to tell who the actual heel is, because there's so many reasons you could just easily point at Zarya being the heel, but then Sol Ruka, like the way she comes across and says certain things, you're just like, maybe she's the heel, and Zarya's just gone berserk and just doesn't give a fuck. Um, but yeah, like I said, both these women are very familiar with each other. They know how to work each other. Yeah, as well expected, great match between the two. Now, as you could tell, you could sense that they were holding back a little bit. They didn't want to go full all out, because any wrestling fan who knows their weight and salt when it comes to the business, this obviously there was more to be had in this feud, and that is true, because NXT Revenge Part 2 coming up this week after WrestleMania. Zarya and Sol Ruka are gonna be in a last woman standing match to blow off the feud, instead of this match being the feud blow off. For what this was very enjoyable. It really it showcased both women so well. And of course, Sol Ruka, I think, is very much ready to be called up to the main roster. So and which is good, because I think, as well as this feud worked, Sol Ruka does outshine Zarya. And but to be fair, anyone besides Sol Ruka would have outshone them. Like, that's just unfortunate. Sol Ruka is that talented, and she's got a great future ahead of her. I'm hoping that, again, going to the main roster, she don't get lost in the shuffle. But I think she has an easier time standing out and getting more of a spot in title contentions, and being useful to write for and whatnot. Probably way more so than like JC Jane. So you know, I expect her to be on the main roster here real soon, and I be would not would not be surprised if Zarya ended up winning the last woman standing to send Soruka packing, and to really give Zarya that bump that she would need to dominate the women's division going forward. So, um, that said, we'll move on to the next one. Miles Bourne, Johnny Gargano. Um, so this match, basically the idea is that for anyone who's been following SmackDown and what have you, Johnny Gargano's been super depressed ever since Tommaso Ciampa went to AEW. I mean, they've been, but they're best friends, they're buddies, they've been tag partners for the longest time, and hated rivals, of course, too. But if for those of you who know, the old school NXT Black and Gold era, where Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa were mainly vetting PLEs left and right for NXT. Um, but yeah, so Johnny Gargano's trying to reignite that spark that that made him the highlight reel that he was, or that we all know he used to be. Goes against Miles Bourne, not US, but North American champion for NXT. Recently got the title from Ethan Page, who had a very, very awesome run with that. More on Ethan Page in a bit. But yeah, like Miles Bourne's trying to come around his own, deaf, so he's a package that has to not only overcome the fact that, he's got the disability that he has to work through, but just the fact of being able to put it all together and still kind of sound like, and still come across as a relevant superstar, like someone that you actually want to pay and see. Um, but it's kind of hard to have a bad match against Johnny Gargano. Gargano is that good. He will make like there people would say, oh well, let's see him have a match with a broom or a mop or whatever. Gargano is one of those people that legit could have a match with a mop and make it entertaining. Um, but yeah, I overall, like I said, this was also a great match. I didn't expect Johnny Gargano to win. I was, deep down, I kind of wanted it to happen because, um, I think Miles Bourne is at his best when he's unfortunately going, hasn't having to deal with adversity. Oh man, the handicap man having to deal with adversity. Oh, shame on you, Christian. No, it's true. If anybody's gonna give a shit about a deaf guy, it's because he deals with adversity every day. So, what's the best way to get behind him and why? Adversity. So I wanted him to lose here, and then maybe win it back like real soon after or whatever. But I want, if you want a guy who doesn't, you want me to be sold on a guy who you're pushing that has a real life disability, you have to show me that he's willing to deal with adversity well and through. Like, give me something more to chew on as opposed to, well, yeah, so yeah, of course he's deaf. Um, but like I said, um, it was nice to see a really good Giant Gargano match. Just Johnny doing his thing again. I have personal history of Giant Gargano, and I'm always rooting for Johnny when he's doing anything in WWE because due to personal ties with him in the past. So the match, like I said, the match was what it is because of Gargano. I really wish Bourne would have a new finisher because I don't think he does Dolph Ziggler's old finisher all that great. Um, the zigzag or whatever they call that DD, like inverted DDT, like the float, the falling, high arcing, inverted DDT. I think that's what's called. But they call it the zigzag for Dolph Ziggler. I don't think he does that move that great. I really don't. I wish he'd find a new finisher, but um, either way, hopefully he starts becoming more and more comfortable with with his role in the company, being able to I don't want to see him just be the deaf guy or the guy who walks around and deals with that disability. I want him to be able to fully embrace a character that doesn't even have to remotely bring that up. Hopefully, that's something that they can work on and maybe be able to explore while he is in NXT. Um, but this is always the problem with those who, for those who have these sort of problems or these sort of things through all their life. Not only do they have to overcome the challenges that come with such disabilities, they also have to come with or deal with the fallout from the makeup of what things, how things flourish because of where you've been because of these disabilities. So, like, I'm just hoping he can somehow create a character or be able to evolve into a character that people don't have to look at him and be like, "Oh yeah, that's the deaf guy." I don't want that for him. Like, I want him to be able to be something more. And that would be awesome. Hopefully not be Randy Orton's lookalike, because a lot of people mistake him for Randy Orton. But there's that. I did see we did see Dion Lennox attack Bourne from behind with the steel chair, and um there was some like conflict between Dark State, and it's still brewing between Dark State. Apparently a lot of the group, Sugars, I think that's his name, Sugar Man, he's not happy with Lennox and his need for title conquest because he seems to be all about himself instead of all about what the group wants to establish. So there's some turmoil between Dark State, and I wonder. I'm not 100% sure what that's going to turn out. But like I said, they're already hurting for tag team dominance or just a division with, solid confined tag teams. And Dark State was one of those tag teams, and if they're gonna end up breaking up real soon, it's like, what you got left for this tag division? I mean, the main roster has the opposite problem. They have all these tag teams, but they chose not to highlight the division at all, and they sent all their tag teams to AAA, TNA, Evolve, house shows, NXT house shows, whatever, to all have work. Mostly AAA. Like, seriously, the tag division's crazy in AAA right now because, yeah, main roster don't make time for them. It's I can't even begin to tell you the last time the men's tag team championships have been defended on a PLE. I couldn't tell you because that's how long it's been. Um, the reason the women's tag titles get defended on any PLE is because there's only one set that is shared between multiple brands. Where for the men, there are a set for Raw and a set for SmackDown. So it's like, um, it's bad enough that the prestige of said tag team like titles is kind of misrepresented because they're just never highlighted. But the fact that there's two separate tag championships for the separate brands, and it just means that they're probably never, like, outside of like hard filler, probably never gonna get showcased. Like, what was it? SmackDown tag titles. Damian Priest and R-Truth just recently won those. That I couldn't even tell you the last time those tag titles were defended short of that. Like, it's it's insane how little tag team wrestling just is even remotely represented in WWE right now. But anyways, the rest of the show, we have Tatum Paxley, Blake Monroe. Dude, Tatum Paxley's rise is ridiculous. As she's been so good with her character. People are really behind her. She is probably the biggest female babyface, probably bigger than Lola Vice. Like, I know people like Lola, but like, man, they really love Tatum Paxley. She is so good. And this is from a woman who has constantly been paired with other people in factions and tag teams and whatnot, and each and every time the tag team or faction gets abandoned because people get fired or people move to the main roster, and she is stuck back to square one each and every fucking time. And I'm glad that she was able to use that to motivate and be able to like turn it into more character forming stuff. It was like this woman is like got my attention. Very entertaining. And in the same sense, Blake Monroe. I'm like Blake Monroe. Like I've said before on this channel, I've always loved her stuff. Loved her in AEW. Love her here in NXT. She's one of those that's supposedly going to get called up to the main roster. She is definitely ready for it. She is definitely the Tiffany Stratton they've been wanting, as opposed to the Tiffany Stratton they have right now. She's just too good, and she's been in NXT putting people over left and right, making people look good, and also getting herself over. Like, people have been really enjoying her work. I'm I am just I'm super thrilled that hopefully, like I said, she makes it to the main roster and ends up, you know, hopefully she ends up doing standing out and being able to um make waves. But I mean, only so many people get caught up to the main roster at once. If JC Jane and who else? Sol Ruka end up getting caught up. Blake Monroe might end up staying in NXT a little longer, which isn't the worst thing either. It'd be nice to have her win the NXT Women's World Title, or the top title. I think she's earned it, and yeah, I think she could carry that division a while if she ends up staying in NXT. So we'll see. We got the finale for Stand and Deliver was Joe Hendry, Ricky Saints, Ethan Page, Tony D'Angelo. Um, Interesting, fun fatal four way. Ricky Saints, Ethan Page, not on the same page. No pun intended. Constantly at each other's, arguing with each other, not working together like they had planned. Joe Hendry trying to defend his championship, while Tony D'Angelo is on a mission to win that title, and basically be the Grand Slam champion that he wants to be. Um, and then, like I said, this match was overall fun. Not one of the best matches of the night, but it was still, like I said, overall, this whole show was top to bottom one of the best shows I've seen in a while for NXT. And um, yeah, just I did not see Joe Hendry leaving with the title. Because like there's a chance that Joe Hendry goes to the main roster as well here real soon. The way they were kind of pushing Tony D'Angelo, I kind of had this feeling that they were just going to run with him as the champion, and they are. Tony D'Angelo winning the title over Joe Hendry, um, I think is a very, very good idea. The man looks. Some people are hit or miss about his current presentation. I know a lot of people loved his Don shtick. Some people thought it was a little too corny, a little too cheesy. Me, I enjoyed his Don shtick, but I just felt like it was so mid card. Like there was something missing. Like he had these cool angles, but then like he was only going for mid card titles. I'm like, dude, you're the Don. Why are you not going for the main, um, for the main score? It didn't make any sense to me. And then he finally takes time off television, comes back. He's a revamped man. He's basically a man full of vengeance. Comes in, destroys Dark State, and then makes a run for the title and gets it. I don't know how long he's gonna hold on to it, be champion. because there's some quality contenders that are waiting in the rings. I'm looking at you, Keanu Carter. Um, but yeah, like Tony D'Angelo is definitely, he looks like a champion right now. He looks like a man who definitely just stands out, and I think he represents the brand well. I think he's definitely entertaining. Like, I love his new entrance. I love the subtlety in his eyes, the subtlety in his character. And he's a man who just doesn't who likes to break it down to brass tacks and just beat the shit out of people now. And the fact that he doesn't have to lean on family, doesn't have to lean on anyone, he can do it himself, is just awesome to see. So, with that said, um, we'll we'll move on to NXT Revenge. As I said earlier, there was title defenses with um, Lola Vice against JC Jane. There was some debuts. Callie Armstrong is now in the no longer in Evolve. She's in the main roster. She's in the main NXT roster now. Um, and then Tony D defended the title against Ethan Page, and a little bit of a back and forth match. But at the end of the day, I did not see Ethan Page winning the title. And I thought it was cute that Ricky Saints was gonna try to help him, and they had Shiloh Hill basically remove Ricky Saints from the equation. Shiloh Hill being crazy hillbilly. Like, I have no other like way to describe his Shiloh Hill's gimmick other than crazy hillbilly. Like, he reminds me of, like, I don't know what else how else to identify his character. He's just crazy. Um but yeah, NXT is gonna be all right in my opinion. With them being able to rotate talent from Evolve to NXT and TNA to NXT, because let's face it, Santana will probably be in NXT if not the main roster in months to come, unless he resigns with TNA, because I know his contract's coming up. And Leon Slater probably gonna go to WWE once his contract's up. And there's like another like few superstars that I think WWE's got their eye on in TNA right now. But right now it's I think NXT is gonna be fine if they lose Joe Hendry, if they lose Sol Ruka, they lose JC Jane. Um who else? Oh, Ethan Page. Ethan Page is gonna be a real big loss for NXT. Ethan Page came in at a time where NXT was gutted of talent, and they did not have much in the way of main event talent outside Trick Williams at the time, and maybe Obafemi. Like, they just, I mean, I think this was before Obafemi even took off. Like, they just didn't have much main event talent. Ethan Page came in, filled that role real nice, and was a big surprise, like, notable talent that came in, and he filled a need that NXT desperately so much needed, and it was nice to see that happen. I really hope he ends up going to the main roster. He's one of my favorite current talents right now, and I think he will do well. Whether or not it's an immediate like in-ring role or not, he doesn't have to be. Ethan Page is a good mouthpiece, very entertaining. Hell, he could be a manager for all I care. I mean, he's a little big for being a manager. A guy looks like a wrestler, but he could find a good role on the main roster if they find the right character for him, or at least the right direction for what he represents as a character. So yeah, like I said, NXT will be all right going into the future. I'm looking forward to the Sol Ruka Zarya last woman standing match. It's gonna be awesome. Um, and I think there's gonna be some fun stuff ahead. I really we didn't talk about the pre-show of Stand Deliver, but they have this huge faction called Birthright, with Lexus King and just trying to find them all now. So you got it's one of the biggest things they're kind of pushing right now. I think they're gonna get a bigger push once WrestleMania season's over. But yeah, you got a whole faction with Uriah Connors, Stax, Charlie Dempsey, Lexus King, and Ariana Grace. Um, they're all basically most of them second generation wrestlers, and I think they could be pushed to a stint where they end up becoming super fun to watch down the road, and hopefully maybe take over NXT. Uh Maybe there's the up and coming EK Prosper that who was formerly Eli Knight, who came out of Evolve. Obviously, for reasons they changed his name. Um, but yeah, EK Prosper, we're gonna see more of him. I was kind of looking forward to that fresh luchador. I can't remember his name now. But yeah, I guess he got hurt. I'm wondering if they're gonna do more with Jasper Troy other than have him in speed tournaments. But they just had him in a match with Keanu Carver and huh, of all people, Josh Briggs. Now, if there's someone they can get rid of at this point, it's got to be Josh Briggs. Just move on from Josh Briggs at this point. For some reason, he has not. He's missing something. He's talented. I think there's just something in his delivery of a character that's just missing, and he just doesn't really quite grab you when he's very good in the ring. I've enjoyed his in-ring work. When Yoshimura, I think that was his name, his Japanese tag partner, when he was with him, I enjoyed their stuff. Um, just don't know what it is about Josh Briggs, but um, yeah, he's missing something. And I think it's his time in NXT is running out. I feel like they're gonna let that guy go, just like they let Wesley go. So, but anyways, so we kind of ran down NXT, and we wanted to also preview WrestleMania 42. We got the match lineups up here. So I know, like I mentioned earlier, the WrestleMania lineup is hit or miss. For those of you, there's so many people disappointed with some of the how the storylines have become, how they've been doing business. There's all sorts of reasons to shit and dump your hate on WWE right now. And honestly, there's so much of it. I can't begin to go through all of it and not have a reasonably sized video. So let's just see past that right now. It's just I don't want to talk about it. Like, yes, there are a million one reasons why WWE people are not excited about this year's WrestleMania. This is not the video for that. We're not going to do that. Well, this is a preview video. We're going to talk about um what we're looking forward to here. So we got Saturday match card. Um so we'll go from the bottom of the list on up because that apparently they got the matches slated for the first hour for ESPN2. Um So the 6-man tag match, we got Logan Paul, Austin Theory of the Vision, teamed with Daisho Speed against the Usos, LA Knight. This is pretty much a put together match to give the Vision something to do. You know what would have been cool? Having a men's tag team title match on the on WrestleMania. But they wanted to give LA Knight something to do. They wanted to give the guy I Show Speed in the mix because LA Knight's been doing stuff with I Show Speed, roughing him up and whatnot because I Show Speed keeps ruining LA Knight's life or getting in his way one way or the other. The Usos were the tag champs, lost to Logan Paul and Austin Theory. Um, yeah, just unfortunately, they this is kind of the program they went with. I would have just loved to see a rematch for the tag titles, honestly, with maybe a stipulation, but they wanted to get IShow Speed on the WrestleMania card because he's so awesome. And no offense to those who enjoy IShow Speed. I was just, as a wrestling fan, um I just don't see the need to have him on the card. Um Unsanctioned match between Jacob Fatu, Drew McIntyre. It's been heated. Anything goes in unsanctioned match, even more so because now the company won't be responsible for what they do. I could go into a rabbit hole of complaints about how they handled the whole Fatu, McIntyre, Rhodes, Orton shindig. I'm honestly, seriously, this I don't know why they went the avenues they did to go through the lengths of having Drew be the champ and then just kind of lose it to Cody eventually after an elimination chamber, after Cody was already given a basically a stipulation that he couldn't challenge for the title again. But of course, you always find ways around that whenever TKO's like, hey, we want Cody as the champ because we think him and Orton would be the better main event than say anything with Drew McIntyre. Yeah, this was creative in TKO's. I don't know fully if creative was behind it that much. I have no idea. As a fan, who knows? But yeah, they didn't have the faith in Drew McIntyre to be the champion into WrestleMania. And yeah, it just these like there was so much inner turmoil between all like several of these superstars. Honestly, as I said before, I really want Drew McIntyre to be forced to defend his title at Elimination Chamber and then see fallout from that. But we did not get that. We got like that actually would have solved a lot of booking problems. Like Cody could have won it there. They'd be on their way with Cody and Randy, despite the current bullshit they're dealing with that feud now. And Drew could have blamed Jacob Fatu for losing the title in the Elimination Chamber, and they could have had DV'd that way with like booking is not that hard, guys. I'm looking at you, creative team. Booking is not that fucking hard, and the bullshit, the meandering, the walk it backwards bullshit that you guys did is blasphemy. You insulted all our intelligence. We don't like you. Creative, do better. Do better. And well, doesn't matter if they do better because TKO is going to do creative for them with Pat McAfee of all things. We'll get to that. The women, hey, the women get to defend their tag titles. Men never, but women, yes. Women defending their tag title in a fatal 4-way. This is their way of trying to get as many women on the card as possible because, well, heaven forbid if we ever showcase the women as much as we do the men. I say that because there's only one female match in day and night 2, and there's 3 female matches on a card of like 7 matches, which is crazy because that's high for a PLE card ratio. That is high. Usually it's only 1 match, which Sunday night is 1 match, but again, crazy here. I am looking for Saraya, the newly signed Saraya, to well, they'll probably call her Paige. Maybe they call her Saraya, who knows. But maybe I'm looking for her to take the place of Nikki Bella, who is currently hurt, and the Bella twins are no longer able to work together and wrestle with her injury. So I can see Saraya taking her place. And maybe scoring the victory with Brie Bella. I wouldn't be surprised. But Nia Jax, Lash Legend, I think are a very enjoyable tag team. They look formidable together. They look like the real deal. And honestly, not a lot of people are excited about this match because, at the end of the day, who cares? They don't really showcase the women's tag division that much, and they only do this to, like I said, get as many women on the card as possible. Um, Women's Intercontinental title match, everyone's over this shit too. Like, again, like it was crazy that we got to see AJ Lee win this title, and then she did defend it, sure. But like, did we really want to see Becky Lynch go against AJ Lee again? Like, for real. Did we need to see this match again? Like, I don't know. So yeah, we're gonna get more Becky Lynch, AJ Lee. Becky Lynch will probably win the title, more than likely, and get it off AJ, because I don't think AJ plans on being around past WrestleMania, to be fairly honest. I'd be surprised if she was. But that's kind of where my mindset's at. Seth Rollins versus Gunther. Again, this is not completely Creative's fault. Too many injuries have derailed all the momentum for their main events, because their main events was supposed to be Braun Breaker against CM Punk, Seth Rollins against Roman Reigns, and the vision was basically going to take over WWE. That was the whole concept of what they wanted to do for WrestleMania. But then Seth Rollins gets hurt, Braun Breaker gets hurt, Bronson Reed gets hurt. You all your big vision people just get hurt. And yeah, basically the storyline they had completely set up for the vision pretty much died a slow death. And they of course needed Seth Rollins to come back in, do something about Paul Heyman, because well, that was what took him out. That was the angle that took him out. Paul Heyman got Seth outed. Um they had to pull the trigger due to Seth's injury. So what happens? What do we need to do? Well, Gunther has nothing to do. Gunther needs an opponent, so they shoehorn Gunther into this feud, into a feud with Seth Rollins, basically willing to do Paul Heyman a favor by taking out Seth Rollins and wanting compensation in return. But Gunther, luckily, we are blessed with the awesomeness that is Gunther. Gunther is able to basically turn shit to gold. Like, literally, he's got the Midas touch. Um, I love Gunther. He is so entertaining. He is one of the best wrestling talents out there to this day. Top three. Like, God, there's so much good talent out there right now. Top three. Gunther's that good to me. That good. And I'm looking forward to the match. So I'm hoping it'll be a one-off, but I'm looking forward to it. Stephanie Vakir, Liv Morgan. This has gotten very personal. The feud's been interesting. Um, isn't it weird? The more that this feud has gone on, the more I think people are kind of getting behind Liv Morgan over Stephanie Vakir. Is it just me? I think more people are wanting Liv to win over Stephanie. Like, but to be fair, I get it, because like Liv Morgan was always seen as the second-rate women's like talent, compared to a Charlotte Flair, Becky Lynch, a Bianca Belair. Um, People look at Liv Morgan as second rate sometimes, and she's never good enough to be the girl. Rhea Ripley, she's second to Rhea Ripley. And so like Stephanie Vakir comes out of NXT, just quickly ascends to the throne and wins the title. And Stephanie Vakir's awesome. I think she's a badass woman. She's very good personality, very enjoyable to watch. She's a great talent. But, I think just the way this feud's been going, I think people are actually wanting Liv to win. And the accident the lumps that she took to her face, to her head. Oh man, it didn't do Stephanie any favors. If she was like, if they were trying to keep the heat on Liv Morgan, I think anything, it got more heat on Vakir to when that happened. And I'm excited for this match. I'm looking forward to seeing it. Hopefully it's good. And I don't see Vakir leaving without the title. I see Liv Morgan taking it, but we'll see what happens. We got Cody Rhodes against Randy Orton with Pat McAfee. Man, I was looking forward to this in general after they decided to walk back booking decisions and put the title back on Cody Rhodes, and I was happy with the Randy Orton stuff, what they were doing with Randy Orton. Why the hell TKO needed to shoehorn Pat McAfee into the feud is as damning as anything. Like, there's been some references to like Disco Inferno and the Gobbledygooker with like the whole Pat McAfee shit by Cody, and it's just, I mean, he's not wrong. No one expected Pat McAfee to be on the other end of that fucking phone. Let's be real. No one expected that. And if you did, then you know someone on the inside, because no one else was expecting this as a regular fan, and nobody wanted this either. Everybody was like, okay, yeah, we're ready for some legit Rhodes, Randy, lots of personal history, let's go. And that's not what we're getting now. We're getting this whole bullshit TKO, like, you know, the system's taking over sort of thing. I don't know. It's a whole convoluted mess. But now you're intermixing CM Punk with it. Cody Rhodes is dealing with it, obviously, and it's just I don't want to see this feud just go across both brands. Like, I don't know. It's messy. It's not great business, and honestly, I wish WrestleMania would be the last we see of McAfee for a while, but I don't think that'll be the case. I think Randy Orton wins the title here. And yeah, then we move on. Honestly, I think Orton wins the title. Rhodes takes time off, because Rhodes could use some time off, I think. But we'll see what they do. God, fucking Pat McAfee, he's a man you love to hate for sure. We got night 2. Obafemi goes against Brock Lesnar. That's going to be a very quick 10-minute or less affair. Going to be a lot of fun. I hope they don't let Brock Lesnar beat Obafemi. I don't want Lesnar going over Obafemi here. This is not the time or the place. Intercontinental Championship ladder match. Also, we got Penta defending his title against Javon Evans, Dragon Lee, JD McDonough, Rusev, Rey Mysterio. That'll be a fun match. A lot of high flying, a lot of lucha action, and then big man Rusev to kind of be the stalwart. Like, I'm happy that Rusev got a match, honestly. Rusev has had a bad shake ever since he's come back to WWE. He's done nothing but basically put everyone over that he's in programs with. And I get it. He's a little older, okay? He's not a dominant guy. But, I would love to see him be able to win this ladder match and, get a title. Be relevant, he could have some good matches with some good feuds, with some good matches with some good talent for the Intercontinental title going forward. We got Sami Zayn defending against Trick Williams. I just saw some stuff on SmackDown just not that long ago. Man, they really gave Sami Zayn the Bret Hart wet towel treatment, didn't they? Sami Zayn is becoming more and more of a heel. And Trick Williams, obviously, because of his charisma, his star appeal, his likeliness, he's just more or less becoming more and more of a face. He does heel tactics, he does heel antics, but the crowd don't care. They cheer for this guy because he's so entertaining. And now basically Sami Zayn is going around moping and crying like a wet towel, showing the personality of a wet towel, kind of like what Bret Hart did before he turned heel back in 96, 97, around that time. Because yeah, Sami Zayn was pretty beloved for so long. Now everybody's booing Sami. It's kind of the same deal with Cody. I know people are getting tired of Cody Rhodes as well, but like Cody Rhodes finds ways to get for the fans to forgive him, where Sami, people are just they're tired of Sami at this point. We got the Demon Finn Balor against Dominic Mysterio, basically the fallout from the Judgment Day stuff. Why are we advertising the Demon? Can't we just be surprised once and be like, oh my god, it's the Demon? I didn't think he'd bring the Demon out because the Demon persona is a pretty cool look for Finn, right? So like, I just don't understand the point of advertising it other than trying to make sure people are like, oh, you could see this live. You come the night two, you could see Finn Balor being the Demon live. That is, they wanted to guarantee that this was for ticket sales. Obviously, they wanted to make sure people knew this is what they were going to see when they came for night two. We got Jade Cargill against Rhea Ripley. No one cares about this match. No one. Rhea Ripley is gonna beat Jade Cargill in 5 minutes, and Rhea's gonna win the title. Like, no one cares about Jade Cargill. She is not entertaining. She all of a sudden has this baddie faction that helps take down Rhea Ripley. And the only reason you needed to do that is because Jade Cargill couldn't hold a candle on the mic to Rhea Ripley. Jade Cargill is still one of the worst people to work a match with in the ring right now in WWE. She is literally the Ultimate Warrior of the women's division, hands down. Just awful. I can't stand watching her wrestle, and I really hope Naomi spits that kid out soon so she can come back. I want to perceive the caution, damn it. I am waiting for Naomi to come back one of these days here real soon because it needs to happen. It's every time I see Jay Cargill, I miss Naomi. I miss Bianca Belair. I hope Belair is able to come back with that finger injury at some point. I know it's really fucked up. Oh man. Of all the women in that stable, in that partnership that went wayward or ended up sticking around, Jade had to be the one. Ugh. I don't wish injury on anyone, let's be fair. But man, Jade is just not good. Just untalented and just not. I don't like watching her. Don't like watching her at all. And of course, CM Punk against Roman Reigns. That feud had a lot of good momentum. Like, really grabbed me, really got me interested in the feud. And then it really kind of took a turn and it kind of cooled off a little bit. I love that they were trading barbs between each other on different talk shows and interviews. They've had some pretty visceral promo segments in the ring. But the last few weeks of this feud has been very unentertaining. It's been, I'm sorry I did this to you, Roman. I'm sorry that we went this way, Punk. I just, that's not what I wanted to see. These guys legit aren't that friendly to each other, but they're professional enough to work together. I wanted to see actual hate in that ring. I wanted to see, you know, I wanted to see what the main event could have been. I want to see the, you know, I want to see bitter CM Punk tired and annoyed with Roman Reigns, dealing with a Roman Reigns who is tired and annoyed of CM Punk. I'm hoping maybe we can get that. Let's get that. Let's get there. I want to see that so damn bad. I don't know if we're gonna get there. It's hard to tell. Really is hard to tell. But seriously, if the based on the one I'm looking at, I think both these nights have matches that kind of like, I don't know how I feel about them. I think I think night two might be just slightly more interesting than night one, just because Obafemi and Brock Lesnar is exciting. You know, CM Punk and Roman Reigns. You know, despite the cooling of the feud a little bit, it's still interesting to see what happens. I know people are over McAfee, which is one reason that I'm not that excited about night one. Um, the ladder match is going to be all sorts of fun. Trick Williams is on a roll. Um, yeah, there's. I think night two will be slightly more entertaining than night one, but despite the lackluster build for WrestleMania, and that's not entirely the creative's fault. Despite that, and despite their lack of ticket sales and this and that, I think this is still a very enjoyable event that I'm looking forward to watching, and I hope it's fun. I really do. Yeah, I'm gonna try to get this video up here in the soon so that a lot of you can watch this or have the ability or chance to watch this before WrestleMania starts. Um, I will be doing an AEW vid. I gotta catch up on some stuff, especially with the craziness that was Darby Allin winning the fucking AEW world title. Um, there's some stuff. Yeah, some AEW stuff I gotta digest. But we'll be looking forward to making a vid for that here sometime soon. Thank you guys for watching these if you have been, and I do these of course for my boy, for the former good friend of mine in the community that recently passed. Unfortunately, he was the main reason I did these and his community, and we're gonna still continue to do these going forward. Um, you guys have any suggestions, comments, thoughts? I'm always open ear, willing to hear them out, seeing what I'm cool with opinions. Deliver them, tell me, message. But yeah, thanks for hanging out, watching the shit here, and watch WrestleMania. Enjoy pro wrestling. It's not that bad. Quit bitching about it. Oh, if we don't bitch about that, what else do we bitch about? There we go. All right. Have a good one, everybody, and take care.